All right. Well, Dave Thornton, we've been chatting for probably half an hour before we've started this recording. We could have been starting half an hour before, but we've got a lot of good chats in. I reckon we start now, which is good. How are you, mate? You've come from Melbourne, Brunswick?
Brunswick, yeah, but I've been down here because I grew up, we're in Geelong now, and I grew up in Detroit, so I'm down here.
Yeah, but still.
Staying at my mum's house, just 45-year-old man, just eating her out of house and home.
That's
it's really
so
good.
I mean, she'd love to have your company. You've made the trek down from Melbourne, which was good because it was up in the air. We thought we might have had to go up there, but you've decided to come down. So I appreciate that a lot.
So the pay goes up?
The pay goes up.
Oh,
sure.
that's good.
This is not voluntary. I'm paying him more than enough money. No, this is voluntary. He's a great bloke. He's come on the podcast for free. I appreciate it a lot, mate. Instagram. This is a question that I had to ask immediately, right? And you might think it's really weird.
Yep.
But this was... So the previous guest we had, Tess Craven, if no one's listened to it, give it a listen. She's a AFLW player for North Melbourne who just won the premiership.
Yeah, nice.
We were talking before we actually started the podcast about being verified on Instagram. And it's a really random question, but I don't know what works. So I send a message, and I didn't send you a message, but I've sent a message to people who've been verified, and you need to request it, right? Or like something about, I don't know the full details. Can you give me the full details about being verified on Instagram? So if I were to send you a message, are you in control of is yours managed? Because you know you're a big profile.
I'm in control of it.
You're in control.
But that's not to say I'm going to answer.
No. So if I send you...
it's more that I'm in and out with that kind of stuff.
Yes.
As in, I don't... I'm putting this out now to anyone listening in the fact that some people say, I sent you a message. I said, mate, I don't check that stuff regularly.
How many do you get? Like, do you get a heap of people?
DMs?
Yeah, DMs.
I don't know, to be honest. Haven't thought about it, Jonesy.
Well, so just so I sent you a message right now, would you get a notification?
Yeah, but then I don't have the notifications on.
Oh, okay.
So that's how much. So I just don't pay attention to it.
So you might have people with a blue tick that have it like turned on, and they might get the notification.
Might get the notifications. Right. But to answer your question, I think my manager went through that route of getting an official blue tick. I don't remember ever doing it.
No. Well, I mean, you've got 134,000 followers. I think you deserve a blue tick. You got people on 2,000 that have a blue tick, you know. So
yeah. Is that what can happen?
Yeah.
2,000, you got a blue tick.
Absolutely.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
I'm nearly there. No, I'm joking. How popular are you? I want to know this. Like, you go around Brunswick. I want to know how many people come up to you and say, Dave, how you going, mate?
So this is a loaded question because popularity is a relative thing. Because a peek behind the curtain, Thomas, who works on the audio and the visual here, he's my cousin.
Yes.
And so at the Christmas table, I don't think I'm the most popular person there. I'm probably, but that's maybe due to me having a few wines, Jonesy.
A little bit over the
shooting from the hip
concentration.
But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I always say that. I think my popularity is at a level where everyone thinks I shop at their Coles. Like, people will see me and then they go, how do I know you?
Yeah.
Nah, don't tell me that. Wait, do you live in Armstrong Creek? No, don't tell me. And then, so that's the level I'm at. I'm not at, stop, I need to get a photo with you right now.
Right.
I'm at, scratch my head, how do I know your face level?
In the middle. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever get people that are like, have you ever had anyone that's like knows more about you than you know about yourself? So they come up to you and they know your address and your number and everything, and it's almost jail time worthy?
I think, well, you've just described my wife, I think. Is that what you're saying? She knows more
That's
things
acceptable.
about me than me. No, I mean, people who are into comedy might know that stuff, but they don't know to those details. Yeah.
Interesting.
So don't put it out on this pod, please.
No, yeah.
Keep it under wraps,
What's in
Jonesy.
here stays in here, but then it stays on Spotify. Racism in comedy. This is a random... this is another...
you've gone for it, Jonesy.
Straight to it. I couldn't let this slip. We're 4 minutes in and I have to get this in. We're not talking about you being, racist or whatever we say. I was looking at your comedy before this, and I had a big giggle. Tommy will be the first person to say that. We were on the couch over there and I nearly lost my breath. But I'm thinking Jimmy Carr, right? And this is a question. And Jimmy's great. He's very funny. I have a giggle listening to him.
Yes.
But a lot of the things he says, boy, he's pushing boundaries, in my opinion. I don't know if you're... And this is why I want to hear your opinion.
Yeah.
He has said some things that he probably is politically incorrect.
Yes.
Can I talk about how he does not get cancelled? Like, how does a comedian not get cancelled?
I mean... Cancelling is saying that there's no more work opportunities, but as you guys have found out through doing this pod, the internet, it doesn't pay But then also, it really doesn't stop contributors. It's like everyone can go for it, and it's a true meritocracy. So, if he's just throwing stuff out and people are liking it, well, then it's kind of impossible to cancel.
Oh. So, okay, so just say next week you go out and they say something wildly racist, you're all good.
Technically, but then also you might probably get audience members who then want to hear more of that. And I'm like,
okay.
I don't feel comfortable about
so
this.
it's a comfortable thing. It's an individual thing. I get that. Have you know anyone that has been cancelled? Have you been cancelled?
No, I've had... I mean, the internet is a wild place. I've had some people throw some stuff at me and then be not happy with whatever hell I've said. But then that's more like... The odds are when you're putting stand-up clips out there, there's always one person. I mean... my last clip I put out, it made me laugh a lot because it's just a joke about the name Volkswagen Golf, and because we're a sporting podcast,
I did see that.
You saw it. Where I said, why would you name a car after a sport that's slow, expensive, and the hardest part is driving?
Correct.
Now, one guy on YouTube just went, it's actually named after golf, as in a body of water, like the Persian Gulf, and I was like, okay, cool.
He doesn't get the point.
Yeah, and so. What I'm saying is there's levels of that to also some people who find it, don't know, who maybe get their jollies off to correct you on something that they have been insulted by, which I find is quite innocuous.
Yeah. If we go back 45 seconds, what have people thrown at you on stage?
On stage?
What, you're walking down the street?
No, walking down the street.
You get stuff thrown at you.
Well, I will say this. This is possibly the worst heckle I've ever received, which was on the street. Because it was free range. Like, I can almost deal with it at a comedy room.
Yes.
I mean, sure, there's sometimes exceptions.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, Jonesy, I was doing breakfast radio at the time, so you get up quite early. I know a lot of people get up early for their jobs, but the early mornings don't agree with me. And so by the middle of the day, I was just a walking ghost. I had nothing left of me. I'd just be tired. I'd want a nap.
Yep.
And I'm walking down the street where I used to live in St Kilda, and a car just slowed down. I didn't even clock his face because it happened before I even registered what was going on. He just slowed down and went, not funny, and then just kept driving.
I bet you were like, did you...
I was taken aback. I was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then
you were out of it.
Yeah. And then so that's possibly the worst thing that's been shouted at me.
Yeah.
But I think in a comedy room these days, knock on wood, it's not as bad as I think it used to be. I think people are much more polite. But online, people can be absolutely scathing.
You don't pay attention to that, I'm assuming? Or
you know what? Sometimes I'm a bit annoyed and I'm a bit tired and I may have a bite back at them.
Well, that's entertainment. That gets traction, surely.
There's a little bit of that, but then most of the time I just let it pass me by.
Valid.
And it's usually my wife who does say, why are you giving these people airtime? And I go, yeah, it's a really good point.
Yeah.
But, I mean, do you get heckled here for this thing? Does anyone like on Spotify or Apple? Or
what have we... We've had
a few comments.
We've had a
few comments?
Well, I'm trying to think of ones, but it's just like, well, right now, if someone was to come up to me and say, you're a tosser, I'd just be like, yeah, nice. Like, I don't know them, right? I just feel like it's sad because we've had like a 30-year-old person just comment, blah, blah, blah. Like, mate, you're teasing a 16-year-old, get a life, kind of, Like, it doesn't faze me. And, yeah, I kind of just... Because I enjoy doing it and whatever. But we get more nice ones than we do. Like, that's like one.
See, that's nice. I mean, the hard thing is that algorithms work off more comments. Yeah. And unfortunately, angry comments get more comments.
Yeah. And, I've ruffled a few feathers when, I've been commenting on sport and, I'm that kind of person that sits on the couch and says people to do stuff when I'm not doing it myself. And I'll be the first to admit that, all right? I'll be,
Are you that guy?
I'm that guy, but I like being that guy. And anyway, so I'll be sitting on the couch doing an episode and I'll be like, right, do you follow the footy? The Tassie
Expansion. Yes.
I don't know where your thoughts are on the jersey, but I hated it, right?
I don't like the jersey either because I think they've gone like very traditional. When I say very traditional, it feels like my primary school uniform. Like bottle green and yellow. It's pretty bad.
You could choose better colours, and I agree with you. I think the thing I said was that I could have made it blindfolded on Canva, and that didn't go down well with one particular person. But that's just like, mate, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, but that's going to get a bite, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that.
It got views and...
Mate,
cool.
I found it humorous. Good stuff. Jonesy,
That's all that matters.
blue tick of approval.
So, yeah,
all right?
give me the blue tick. Get me verified.
I mean, I'm
on
not going to go
Instagram.
online and stand by you, but right now in this pod,
I know.
I will sit with you
That is it.
and say that was a fair enough
That
comment.
is it. And I'd prefer Dave Thornton to agree with me than that some 30-year-old homeless bloke, I'd say. So I think I'm ticking boxes already.
Well, there is a little bit of that as well. People make comments, and then you click on their profile and go, "Ah, okay,
Like, come on.
like
Let's
what's going on
Let's
here?"
just simmer. Yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it.
So, but I do find YouTube is the one that's the most aggressive. I find that there's more dudes on YouTube
Oh,
because social media skews more
You reckon?
female.
Yeah.
YouTube is where they get a lot
Yeah.
of. Oh, look at this guy!
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. Tommy is all about the analytics for this more than I am, so you'll have to ask him.
Yeah, I think we've got more hate on YouTube.
More hate on YouTube. there you go.
You're the numbers
But
man.
the thing
Yeah, on
is-
YouTube, there's usually the profile pic is some guy full of protein at the gym, or a divorced dad who's really into cars or fishing. They're the two that really have a go.
I'll look on Instagram more than I will YouTube. So so we might have some hate ones on YouTube, but I don't know about them. So yeah, that's just. You can
No,
leave a
that's
comment. You could leave a hate comment. I probably wouldn't even see it. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh, that's a shame.
unless
I'll-
unless it's on
I'll give it a
Instagram.
shot, see how we go.
Maybe tag me in it. I might see it. I want to go.
I'll come past your place of work and just yell it at you.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
to your pizza place. You were saying capricciosa your favourite pizza. I was.
Why? What's wrong with the capriccio, Jonesy?
Olive and mushies, can't go past it. No, can't go for it. Sorry, you can't
Can't go
past
for it.
Mm.
Mushrooms are great on a pizza.
Mushies are okay.
Olives, it's touch and go. I'll grant you that. I'm not saying it's my favourite. I'm just
Yeah.
saying if I'm like, oh, that'll do.
The only way I'd have a capricciosa was if it was heaps of meat, lots of cheese, barbecue sauce,
Yeah.
just to erase the olives.
I feel from our short conversations now about pizzas, barbecue sauces, you think it'll fix all problems.
Yeah.
From what I gathered.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you not for it?
No. But I'm
But
just.
you are
But I've
correct.
seen the consistency.
Mate, I'll have barbecue sauce and a margarita, anything. I'll have barbecue sauce and a tomato, I reckon. It goes well with anything, in my opinion.
You can dress it up. You can dress
Yeah.
it down.
Yeah.
It works with anything.
Exactly.
You can work it out.
Jam and cheese on toast. This is a combination that I've gone with over the past. This has
What?
been discussed on the podcast. Jam and cheese on toast. A few people have said no, but I'm for it. What are your thoughts on it?
That's interesting because that's up there with pineapple on pizza because the jam's sweet, and then so pineapple's sweet as well.
You don't rate it?
It's very divisive. Well, pizza is a savoury, obviously,
Yeah.
meal, and then you're putting something sweet on there. I don't know, mate.
Although
This is the biggest. We've talked about racism,
Yeah.
and this is the first time I've really backed away from you.
I bet this is the first time you've ever gone straight from racism into pizza in your life. This is like probably
You came out of the gate strong with racism,
And then
but now this is really
gone
getting
to
into,
pizza.
pardon the pun, the meat of it. This is really it.
It's probably the weirdest transition ever, but I like it. But if you one more thing on
how
pizza.
did you come to the conclusion of jam and cheese?
Because my dad did it, and I tried it, and I was like, "Yep, it goes all right."
Well, did your dad ever talk about how he got around it?
No. Oh, I reckon. I don't know. Maybe his folks.
Really?
I don't know. I
Because
don't
it's
know.
a strange combination.
I'll admit it is strange, but it's good. It is good. It is good.
Do you say it's strange or he's strange?
Maybe a bit of both. But that means I fall under that category too. So for both of us,
Well,
and
hey-
then plus the
Hang on a second, mate. If you were... So, okay, this feels like a great origin story.
yes.
You're at the pizza parlour. All of a sudden, someone's sneaking jam in on the pizzas. Does it work? Does it not? Are people going, hang on a
Jam-
second, this mad scientist is actually onto something.
Well, you wouldn't put jam on pizza.
Why not? You're putting it on bread. I mean, essentially, a toasty is a pretty lo-fi pizza.
Yeah. Well, you reckon just the base, then jam? Because
Well,
that
what-
would be all right, but you can't put the cheese, and then you can't put the barbecue sauce, and you can't put the tomato on. Like, you can't make a pizza and then put jam on it. That's, like, illegal.
Yeah, but you say that. I would say jam and cheese is a legal combination anyway.
Well,
You're putting it on bread.
Try it, and then it might be legal. I don't know.
I'm
Although,
just being a maverick in your field.
barbecue sauce is sweet, you'd say. That goes on pizza on everything.
Yeah, but it's pretty salty as well. Jam's
yeah.
got no salt in
I
it,
don't
you
know.
know. Hey,
It's dangerous stuff.
This is a blue sky meeting, mate. There's no
But-
right answers. I'm just throwing things out
Barbecue
here.
sauce is dangerous. Especially when it's hot. 200 degrees, it'll put a bubble on your finger. That's what happened before.
You cause an injury.
It's dangerous working at a pizza shop. It is dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've cut nearly my finger off. You know, I could nearly go with a disabled sticker on my car because of a pizza shop. Nearly sliced limbs off and
Mate.
skin. It's dangerous.
Heroes don't always wear capes, do they?
Minimum
Look at
wage too. Oh, boy, give me a pay rise, please. This is dangerous. No, you've been working with Theo Von.
Theo Von, yeah.
And Tommy and I have been talking about this, and we've been talking about you and Theo. And 2010, was that the first time you met him? I saw on your Instagram.
Yeah, so this is very strange, Jonesy, in that we got booked for gigs in South Africa. So I was like, yeah, absolutely. This sounds like a great gig. I'd love to go to South Africa. So I went there, and in comedy, you quite often do lineup gigs, which instead of doing, say, your own solo show, you quite often have a host, and then they'll put up other acts, and they'll introduce the acts on. They'll do 10 to 12 minutes or something like that.
Right.
So that's a night of comedy that they had all set up, and Theo Von was on there. Also, I can't believe his name escapes me now. Trevor Noah. Do you know Trevor Noah?
Oh, I think I've heard of him.
Yes, but Trevor Noah was on the lineup as well. So it was like we've all really gone on with it. But
Yeah.
and I met Theo there. So then we hung out for a couple of weeks in South Africa.
Yeah.
And then it was a little while later, I went over to LA and just hung out with him and a couple of the other comics that we were doing gigs with. And then we just kind of stayed in contact a little bit. And then I saw he just, what was it, about a year ago, 2 years ago, he started blowing up. And I was like, oh, good on you, Theo.
Oh, so back then he wasn't that well known?
No, not at all.
Oh.
No, not at all.
So when did he burst onto the scene?
It was his podcast, really, talking about, it was him doing his pod, and then he just built it himself, much like we are doing right now,
We
guys.
might pop off after Dave Thornton on the podcast.
Never forget
today.
the little people,
No.
guys. This could be the same. He's playing stadiums now. Just want to let you know, guys. So, and you'll be up there doing podcasts about barbecue sauce. Everyone will be chanting, going,
yeah.
it's the jam pizza guy!
There might be a new jam
Jonesy!
pizza because...
And then so, yeah, Theo and I, like I said, we vaguely stayed in contact. Like we weren't really close or anything. But then it was, really strange. I can't remember if last year he or I sent a message to each other just talking rubbish about something reminded me about South Africa. And I was
Best
like, that was
buddies.
so weird. And he was like, yeah, well, whatever. And then, he said, I'm touring. And I said, oh, sweet, you're touring. And then he said, do you want to do support? So that means you get to do 10 minutes before his show.
Yeah.
And then we get to hang out. And I was like, yeah, let's do that.
So does that mean like you're his favourite comedian?
Oh, yeah, let's just
you
say
will
that for
say
now.
that
Yeah, let's say that.
I mean, you may as well. You could FaceTime him right now if you could. Could you?
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
imagine those. Just call him up and he'll be on. No, he'll be in America now, wouldn't he?
Right.
What's the time zone in America? That'd be like midnight now, wouldn't they?
We can give it a run. Let's see. No, I'm not going to FaceTime him.
That's like bad.
I'm a professional. I've got my phone on airplane mode, if I've got to be honest, so I don't even know.
Yeah.
But no, but he's really a lovely guy, Theo, and like half his luck, he's doing amazing. He was doing arenas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at
Not
all.
bad. And then you had one last year. Last 2024, 2025 now.
Yes, it's just 25.
John Cain Arena.
Yes, that's right. He did 2 of those.
Yep.
So yeah.
And then you were involved.
And then I was there doing the gigs,
Partners in crime.
hanging out, and what do you know?
Speaking of a gig, you did one for a billionaire.
Yes, I did.
And, we were having a look at this earlier today. And I don't know, did you want to tell the story or about it at all? I mean, you've probably told it 50 million times.
Yes, there's a bit of that. And Jonesy, I mean, you've seen it and Tom's seen it. So I don't know if I want to bore you guys. But the long and the short of it, I was asked to do a gig for a 70-year-old's birthday in Aspen, Colorado. It was because it was around the time. Have you seen the clip of Jim Jeffries when all that gun control stuff?
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
You
All I
haven't seen
know
that
is from the 1% Club.
Oh, right, yes. From Channel 7. Good branding. So it was in America and he did this stuff about gun control and it went off.
Oh, right.
And then so these guys then wanted an Australian comedian because this woman, she was originally from Australia but lived over in America since she was 18. And so it was very strange that they got me involved. It was through like a really long chain of command. It was like a mate of a mate of a mate. And then they got me there and they flew me over and all this kind of go. It was insane.
First or business class?
I mean, look, they just gave me the money.
Yeah.
I put the extra points in, just went the upgrade. Hell, and what do you know? And so it was nuts in that. I mean, you saw the bit. It was me just standing in this room of billionaires, and I realised very quickly I had nothing in common with them. You
just felt like the outsider.
I felt like the guy without the blue tick. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's it. Still with 134k followers, and he's still out. He's far away from there. You're like a peasant compared to him, I reckon.
mate. Well, this is the rich of the rich.
I
Like,
know.
this is like next level.
Thornton being a peasant, that means, what would I be? Non-existent. It'd just be...
Don't think about it, mate.
Nah.
Mate, to be honest, you swan up there with your jam cheese toasty.
Yeah,
These rich people would be
mate,
like,
if I'm leaving a
this kid.
legacy of a jam pizza, I'm taking that.
Well, the restaurant that we were at, this is the level it was at. They were explaining to me that the week before Michael Jordan was there, and I was like, "Which wine glass? What are we?
Yes.
Where was he? Where did he sit?" I'll smell the chair. Like, I just want to know what's going on. It's MJ.
Yeah.
So it's that level. Like, Aspen is like where the richest of the rich hang out.
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, what am I doing here?"
Don't belong there.
Yeah, and he was a lot. Oh, you've seen the bit. If anyone wants to check it out, go on my YouTube page. It's not worth me
That's
just
it.
going over the story again. You've heard it all, but it's a cracking punchline at the
Promote
end.
yourself, mate. You're here to promote yourself. What else have you got? YouTube,
Cross-pollinations.
Instagram,
Oh, mate, it's all there.
Facebook,
TikTok.
Twitter.
Please.
Every single
Well,
platform he is on.
Not really on X anymore, but whatever.
Yeah,
That's
I
fine.
don't even know. Yeah, Elon Musk. Yeah, I don't even know. X. Yeah, what even is X? It's just Twitter, isn't it?
It's Twitter, but he's changed the name of it.
Fair enough.
Because
He's unique. He's just a unique fella.
a unique. That's a nice way to put it.
Unique.
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 Yeah. Some people have said harsher words, but unique will fine.
Might have to get the big man on. What would you ask him? What would I ask him? What would I ask Elon?
Elon.
What would you ask him? I'd say... I don't know what I'd say. Something about space.
Yeah.
He's involved with that.
No
isn't he?
Tesla questions?
Tesla.
I'd be like, why do all the electric cars have different outlets? And I mean this. I'm really furious about that. You know, they've all got different, like phones. Why do phones all have different outlets? Do you know what I mean?
That's valid. That is valid.
They
You
all
know,
should,
it
legally
sounds-
speaking, we should all have the same.
I was running on empty on my
Clicky
phone
anythings.
earlier today, and my mate, I was like, "Yeah, can I have a charger?" No, he's got a Samsung. Like, oh,
See what
please.
I'm saying?
Just
Like, what are you doing?
One of the same, please.
What are we, like, we're better than this. It's the
Yeah.
21st century, guys.
Yeah, I know.
We need to sort this out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Anyway, big Elon. I don't know. He's interesting.
Mate, I'll talk to him. I'll see if he can swing through. This kid's working hard. He's got blisters on his fingers. He's lost a couple of digits. He really needs a leg up.
I'll just, play the victim and he might get on. That's how it goes.
Yeah, that's not a bad way to angle it.
Yeah, he'd get on. He'd get on, Elon. Nah, I don't want him. Don't need him.
But then hang on a second. So you've done about 30 pods here. What's the experience? What was the idea leading into this podcast, Jonesy? Because it feels like you can talk. Like I'm not going
Before we... What you mean before we started the pod?
Yeah.
Well, I want to be a commentator, sports commentator.
You've got the kind of mellifluous tones. You've got... I could imagine you
Definition, please.
I could...
Definition?
Can you see you go up and down? Like you've got a voice you can listen to. It's not monotone.
No.
I can imagine you just going, it's the last day in September.
Scotty Boland. He is a beauty. No.
13! Like you could do it all.
Yes, 13. Nah. Yeah, so that's the dream.
Mate, I've met Hutto.
Oh, Anthony Hudson.
Yep.
Yep.
Sandy,
Howie's a local boy, Boneheads. He's on the list.
I met Sandy Roberts. What a lovely man.
Sandy Roberts. Oh, he's got a beautiful voice. Bruce
doesn't he?
McAvaney. He's the
Bruce.
top. He's the top.
Jeez.
Delicious. He's beautiful.
Dennis Committee, obviously.
Dennis Committee. Yes.
I've only crossed paths with Dennis. I haven't met him. Like I saw
Wait,
him
have you
in the
met
flesh.
Bruce?
I have met Bruce.
Oh, how?
And no, he wouldn't have remembered it.
No.
It was literally... Well, strangely, I met Bruce not in a professional setting. He was at a restaurant and there was a table of us comedians and we're like, Bruce McAvaney. And we'd all... 3 sheets to the wind, Jonesy. And then we were like, oh, Bruce. And I reckon it would have just been a hot mess. He was like, what's going on? And we were like, ah! And I think we got a photo.
I bet he would have loved it. Nah, that's the dream. Brucey, I want to be Bruce. That is my idol, I reckon. Big Brucey. Just a shame he stopped. 2020, I think he stopped. But then he came back for the finals.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, him and Committee, you listen to like the 16, you watch the 16 grand final, those
Chalk
two
and
are
cheese,
just
mate.
going
Yeah.
bang, bang.
It was good.
Because Dennis Committee is obviously, people love him because of all these little sayings and things he used to throw into it. And a mate
Centimetre
reminded me of it recently with this one where there was, I think it was a Sydney game, can't remember the players, and one of them went into the pack and he just got taken high. And then Dennis Committee he goes in optimistically, comes out misty optically.
What? Actually, you know what I have got?
Which is a pretty good piece of wordplay
You want
in
me
the
to?
moment.
This is gold, actually. So I've got best quotes that I've used over the past 2 years, I reckon. Since I've got this phone, I've heard quotes and I've written them down. I'll list them. These are commentating quotes, and one of yours is featured on them. Not commentating, but I'll get to it. Yours is the last one. I literally added it 5 minutes before you came because I was watching your stuff and I was like, holy, that is good.
Oh, you've won. Okay.
So you've won me over.
Thank you, mate. I thought you just put it in to win over favour. But
No.
You've seen
This is genuinely good.
So this is nice because comedians will do this. Comedians, you'll hear things and you go, I've got to write that down.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing.
Well, that's what I've done.
I think, mate, you're heading in the right direction for this commentary stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the dream. But here we go. Picked it up like a Dyson vacuum. As useless as a fly screen on the submarine.
Yeah, great.
Concrete, as useless as a concrete parachute.
Yep.
As useless as glass hammer. You know the one. The knife's in the back. Let's effing twist it. Blah, blah, blah. He's made of glass, so he's prone to injury, you know. Have to put a bloody bomb under him to get him to move. Not going to mince me words. More chance of squeezing water from a stone. Built like a Sherman tank. They're running rampant, as scarce as a hen's tooth. As rare as rocking horse feces, could put a blanket over him. All that is Collingwood to an absolute tease. On a knife's edge, an oxygen thief. Obviously not a very nice thing to say. Like if I called you an oxygen thief.
Of course. But still, there's worse things to be said, mate. I mean, it's
true. Deaf as a doornail. Rusty as a tetanus fence. I made that up myself. Are you happy with that?
Rusty as a tetanus fence.
Look, tetanus fence are rusty, aren't they?
Well, the fence can't have tetanus, can it?
Can't it? No, because you scratch yourself and then you get tetanus from the fence.
It sounds good. Like, I think...
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? It rolls off the tongue, but then under scrutiny, maybe.
Yeah, well, I think the good thing about this, you don't tend to pay attention. I don't want the high IQs to get involved with this, you know. This is just me. I'd be negative IQ right now, but I don't care. That's genuine venom.
I don't want the high IQs to get involved.
All you do is convert oxygen into carbon dioxide. And then I added yours at the end. If Toby was a car, he'd be unroadworthy. Do you remember saying that?
Yes, I do remember saying that.
That got me.
Yeah.
I was happy with that, so I wrote that down. And yeah, that's a few of them. But yeah.
Well, mate, if I'm watching AFL in... how old are you now, Jonesy?
17.
17. 17. So I'd think with... You earn your stripes. It's not going to happen overnight.
No.
But in 10 years' time... I flick it on. Here we go. Thanks so much, guys, for being here. Pre-season, not only have we got new players, we've got a new commentator here. Jonesy, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no worries, guys. Big game ahead of us.
And then I hear that thrown out in the third quarter, because I reckon the first quarter you'll be a bit nervous.
Yeah,
and you're trying to jump in. There's probably 3 of you in the commentary box.
Yeah.
You know, there'd be... Because I think it's always the same setup, which is there's, an ex-player who's... He's now bedded in.
Commentator.
Your BT kind of a role. Then you've got the newer player he's had a storied career, but he's still working around the mic, and he's still
he's working around the mic. Sorry to cut you off, but Joel Selwood, I think, was a bit touch and go when he joined. Not criticism, brilliant player, and he's getting better. But at the start, he was a little bit often.
Yeah, they're a bit wooden.
Yeah,
because you can understand answering questions in a media scrum is very different to just writing the play and working it out.
Yeah,
but I can see. You've pulled yourself up from your bootstraps. You've come through. You've been commentating VFA.
Might have to write that one down. But yeah.
And you go to, and then what do you know? Jonesy's there. You're in a kind of ill-fitted suit jacket. You know, like the wardrobe hasn't exactly fitted you yet. In a couple of years, it'll look good, but it's kind of swimming around at this point in time.
Yeah, just covering every part of my body. Nah, the dream is going...
And then I'll hear that in the third quarter when you're relaxed into the first game.
Yeah,
I'll be like, he's
made
made it!
Couple of quarters, then I should be into it. You know, KO...
It'll be great. Thomas will be counting you down in the director's chair. Coming in 3... There we go, bang.
All over it. KO, you would have known this. They did their own, you apply and you could get a job in 2025 for footy.
I did not know this.
Oh, you didn't know this?
No.
Well, you have to be 18. And I was like, damn, I can't get it. Because you put in, 100 words of why you should be eligible, and then you put a video in. And I was like, missed my chance.
But Jonesy, in years gone by, like in the First World War, men... would say that they were older than they were so that they could go fight in the trenches. So if they found a way to defend this country,
I know.
You should find a way
what I should
to
do,
commentate your way through an AFL match.
I'll find a way. I'll try and get Howie on, and I'll be like, mate, give me the ins into Fox Footy and Triple M, and I'll surely get me behind the mic. I'll have to find a way. That's just, if I am a commentator, life's good.
Yeah? You'd be happy with it?
I'll be more than happy with that.
Do you... Ever since you were a kid, like, would you watch it and think...
I've been commentating in front of the TV since I was like 12. Turn it down. Sorry, Bruce. It's my turn now. I'll have a call.
How does Family Jones deal with this?
they tend to leave. But then I'll be respectful. So I'll be like, right, guys, let's watch as a family. I won't be calling. And then when they leave, I'll commentate.
Yeah,
so that
fair enough.
I'm respectful.
Yeah, that's good.
We've got a TV downstairs. One upstairs, one downstairs. So when the up one's being used, go downstairs, have a call.
Oh yeah, just get a cheeky call in.
Yeah, that's it. Just get the vocals up and about.
So if there's people visiting, is the family like, no, he's just downstairs, just commentate through the game. Just let him go.
They probably can hear me. I've never actually been like, what's the word? Like confronted by them. I don't know what the word is.
Yeah.
I've never been like they've never walked into me commentating because they probably can hear me from upstairs. I don't know if they can or they probably can, but even if they, I don't
Worst things to walk in on a teenage boy doing. Like, that's not the worst that could be happening. So, you'll be all right.
But,
So, yeah, mate, it seems like, this is all working out really well for you.
Yeah.
But do you have because I know with commentators, in the little knowledge that I have, they quite often have a person there who's working the stats, who's working the little factoids.
And this is the easy thing. I didn't know this until a few years ago because I had the stats for me. I was researching myself. I was saying, right.
Yeah, but I think that's good because then you will know it off the top of your head.
Exactly, and that's good. But then I realised that they're given to you. They'll say a stat that's like no one would know, but it's literally handed to them. I'm like, oh, that's handy.
Yeah, I've followed some guys on social media who are the stats people for X
cool.
because I like basketball, and so I'll quite often follow these guys and they'll just pull these things out. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. And that'll be that weird thing of going, that's his first kick in second quarter for the last 12 rounds.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
really means they're going to win the game. I don't know why it's interesting, but like if they say that, it's just like, cool. It doesn't mean a lot. A lot of them don't mean a lot. It's just like, cool.
Well, yeah, but you got to have filler.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
if you got nothing to say, then you put in a stat. But what I do think is that they go, like if you're a statistician and I'm the commentator, I say the stats. It's like me getting all the fame and you doing the hard yards and getting nothing. I find that a little bit.
No, but people have writers. Like, a TV show has writers, and then so...
Yeah, and directors.
Think that statistician, no doubt, couldn't stand being in front of the microphone.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true.
So that's the thing. Like I think it's good that you're getting across the stats. Don't get me wrong. You want to know your stuff. You don't want to be just like Ron Burgundy, where you're just ripping out whatever's said in front of you. You're saying something that you're just reading this verbatim and not understanding what the hell's coming out.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Like you want to know all that stuff, but then also you want to know leading up to it. Little stories, little anecdotes that are leading up. You want to be all across it, which sounds like you are.
Yeah, I do tend to take some things seriously in the commentating world. I do find my stats a lot of fantasy, AFL fantasy. I don't know if you do that. But
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I know that Luke Darcy, for a fact, did what you did when he wanted to become a commentator. Just turn the volume down and then just went for it. So that's how Luke Darcy taught himself.
Well, he was a former player, so...
Yeah, but then if you think about it, if you're a former player, I mean, you would watch, you'd think a bit of footy, but probably not as much as fans of footy. Like what I've found is that footy players, like they watch film and they'll watch stuff, but they're not necessarily like you are because they've played the game. They're not spending the rest of the weekend. They might have it on, but they're probably not as into it as you are.
Yeah, and this is why I find, because a lot of them are past players, and I'm like, right, can we get a normal commentator in that's good at their job, and then you get the past players being experts. BT, he's a good commentator. I actually rate him commentating. But I think, you should have a Bruce McAvaney who didn't play the game, but he's just a gun. Dennis Cometti didn't play the game, but he's a gun. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think right now on Channel 7, we're lacking that.
Oh, you're lacking a Jonesy just to jump in.
A Jonesy,
is that what you're saying?
But just
a guy with a bit of character.
Just a pure natural commentator who hasn't had
things
anything
fall
to do.
flat. He can be like, you know what will help this? Bit of barbecue sauce. That's what. It helps any situation.
Sauce. I'll finish every sentence with barbecue sauce. Yep, new nickname, I reckon. What's your nickname? Thornto.
Thorno. Which is actually, I say that really disappointingly, but it's more, I find it quite funny because I never had that nickname growing up or at school or...
It was just Dave.
And it sounds like a sporting nickname, but it was comedy that gave me Thorno because there's so many Daves. So it sounds like a sporting nickname, but it was invented in the arts.
Well, there's a Henry Thornton. I don't know if you know him, plays for Adelaide Strikers. He took 5 for 3 in one game.
Bloody cousin Henry. He's a good bloke anytime.
Yeah, I know.
He's a good guy.
He got it off you, I reckon.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, back in the backyard.
Yeah.
Well, geez, I reckon we've been yabbling on for half an hour about me. This is not about me. This is about you.
Jonesy, I want to know, mate. I just want to know. Well, the sounds of things, I'm hitching myself to your success now, mate.
Yeah, I know. We're going to be here for 12 hours if we keep this up. You were with Bob Murphy, another sporting bloke. Cheap Seats podcast, am I right in calling that
Yes,
name?
the Cheap Seats. That was named that before the TV
I
show
know.
Cheap Seats.
They've just taken your thunder. Melanie Bracewell. And, oh boy.
Yeah, you're testing me now.
Oh boy.
I've met Mel and done gigs with her, but I haven't met...
Get him.
He's very good. I think he's very funny.
Yeah, but
I
forgot
his
his name.
escapes me again.
Anyway, moving on.
See, this is why you need a statistician
Yeah, I
and or
know.
researcher.
Tommy, this is your job, mate. Who's the Cheap Seats guy? Melanie Bracewell and someone else. Apologies to her, whoever he is.
Oh, yeah. That's right, Tom. I've realised this is like Joe Rogan's podcast where we go to you for all the facts and you can look it all
come on,
up.
Tommy.
Tim McDonald.
Tim McDonald. Macca.
Oh, a very lovely guy, very talented guy. My mate does warm up, so he warms up the audience as a comedian that does that. Ben Lomas, very funny guy. He said Tim's a lovely dude, very talented. Actually, he'd know a thing or two, not about commentating, but at least about hosting and doing all the TV
Would you
stuff.
take a uni course doing commentating, or is it just natural? Just walk into Channel 7 and say, give me a gig?
That's you'd probably, well, in that case, study media, I would say. But then I don't want to dissuade you from doing that, but I also think you would probably get more experience by just, going down to the football club and just saying, I'll commentate a game for you.
But the thing is, I don't know their players. I'll just be like, number 30 gives it off to 20, feeds it over, like you
but I reckon, but you say that, if you got, because they'd have a list, you genuinely that week go over the list. You'd be like, number 30. Yeah.
True.
It's easy. You can get the paperwork. You get soon enough. But I reckon too, if you could learn that, if you could learn a local football league, even not just the team, but all the other, like if you could pull that off, think about how easy AFL would be.
Yeah, I know. I already know their players.
Totally.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
That's true.
Where there's a will, there's a way,
you
mate.
just have to find it and get traction. That's all. Just film it or do something. Anyway, that's the story for another time. But back to the Cheap Seats, Tim McDonald, Melanie Bracewell. This was before them. This is you and Bob Murphy on a podcast.
Only 11 eps in that. You guys have
Only
got more
11.
staying power than we did.
Tommy had a stat. He said like a percentage of podcasts stop after something.
Yeah, it was 90% stop after the first episode, 9% stop after the first 10 or 11, and then only 1% make it past 21.
I don't know if you guys heard that.
You're in the 1%, guys. You're in the upper echelon.
We're in the top 1%.
Well, that's where we hit a hurdle with Bob and I. We were having fun, but then he got a job on SEN, which I'm sure you'd love. And Murph and I said, you won't want to do this podcast because you're actually getting paid to talk now on radio. So it sailed off into the sunset and just sat there.
Yeah, who knows? If you kept on going, you could be bigger than the Joe Rogan experience.
Yeah, who knows? Or what's this podcast called?
Look to your left.
Oh, the Sporting Fix with Jonesy. Yeah,
that's the one.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Mate, I'm a comedian. It's bloody jokes.
He loves it. Like that.
I was having some fun.
No, I love it. It's good. It's good. It's good. I actually had a bloke. We have 10 questions for you, and one of them was like, "Who's Dave Thornton?" And I was like, "No."
Brutal.
No, it's brutal. No, that's false. That's false. That was actually Mark coming into me saying for me to say that to you. So there it is. It's out.
Oh, my cousin.
But
my direct cut.
The cousin doesn't even know.
Real piece of work.
Yeah, I know. This is brutal. Well,
no,
all of your
family can be quite
Everyone
brutal.
knows you. Everyone knows you. It's okay. It's okay. No, how much... So with a stand-up show that you do every now and then, do you have one coming up soon?
I'm touring my show Nothing's Impossible still throughout the country this year. So I'll be going more regionally. So I think it'll be in Geelong, actually. Geelong in March. We're just getting it all
together.
Getting it, my statisticians, or the equivalent thereof, getting the numbers people behind the scenes.
That's good. Where are you going in Geelong?
I'll probably be at GPAC.
Yes.
Oh, well, now it's the Geelong Arts Centre, sorry. It's GAC.
What's the capacity of that, roughly?
Good question, Jonesy.
Don't know.
As you can see, I'm not a numbers man.
Yeah, but, I know. That's for your statisticians, I reckon.
Yeah. But, because once this goes out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'll be playing it in your park. But the numbers will just be through
Take you to the G, I reckon. Far out. No, first pit stop.
What?
It is Geelong. It is Geelong.
If memory serves, I'm really going to have to... Mate, we are recording this on, what is it, the 4th of January?
Yeah. 3:02 p.m.
I've been on holiday for 2-3 weeks now.
Yeah,
I haven't thought about anything.
Yeah,
so, but
valid.
What's this space? Dave_Thorno.
Yeah.
And check it out. I'll be touring regionally with my hour-long show. Actually, I think, Thomas, did you come last year? You did. Yeah, I remember.
How's that?
Mate, dinner and a show. We had dinner together and then you came to the show.
I know.
That's full red carpet treatment for family.
That is. I'm sorry to say I haven't been.
And then his dad pulls out that bull shit before joke. No. That's okay. Is this the first swearsies?
No, we've had a few swear words on here.
Have
Don't
ya?
worry. What's
Jonesy
the worst
working
one
blue.
we've had? Oh, it's probably Thomas. I don't even know what you do with them. Just beeping out. Probably you've just been censored. Look out. Look
Well,
out.
you don't want to be cancelled, do you? I mean,
No. With you on, we might be.
we're done here.
Yeah, see you later.
Making jokes about people losing fingers,
See you behind bars.
putting jam on pizza.
Yeah, that is
we're
a
done
crime. That is jail time. Preparation that goes into your stand-up show.
here.
How much, how long are we talking? How much time's in it? You know, how do you remember stuff? Like, if you were to say, Dave, you're doing a show coming up,
Yeah.
how do you prepare?
Well, okay, I'm putting some water in. Mate, you've got some biting questions here. So I've got I'll put some water in.
Oh,
yours
what a
as well.
legend.
There
That
you
is
go,
a
mate.
gentleman right there. Fresh water. It's a 32-degree day today, and the fan is on, and it is pumping. I'm sweating.
It is. This is some Bikram podcasting.
I'm panting.
God.
Far out.
Jonesy, if you're doing an hour-long show, it does take a bit of work because talking for an hour, which you would know even on a podcast.
Already gone for 40 minutes.
Yeah. And this is you and I just bouncing off each other.
Oh,
Can you
I
imagine you're the only person talking?
I know. Literally. I've been saying, I know, this is not about me. I'm going to zip my mouth. You talk.
It does take a bit of work. It probably takes about 3 months' work of just what we call open mic rooms. So you turn up to these rooms and just you're there. Usually you don't get paid. It's just to test out material. What you think is funny in your living room and or on your laptop, you then get to say out loud in front of people and go, oh, I was sorely mistaken. And then so you just then go back and keep writing it and then performing it and then working it out and figuring out which bits are funny, which bits are not.
So if I had a lie or a truth detector on you right now, have you ever told a lie on stage, like about a fake story?
Yeah.
Oh, all the time?
All the time.
Okay, so the poo one with your kids?
No, that one's real.
That's true.
That is 100% real.
Far out. That is probably
There's another
the
poo
most
story if you want to go on my
disgusting.
YouTube channel, which is
Yeah.
horrific. But no, when I say it's a lie, invariably for me, because some comics just fabricate stuff, and that's fine. It's just they're just putting it together. Like Jimmy Carr, none of the things that Jimmy Carr speaks about actually happen. It's just him setting it up for a joke. For me, it usually, there's a morsel of truth in it. But around that, I might put some mayo on it.
Surely you put some mayo on the poo story. You fell over and got marinated in your kid's feces. I was dead sitting down watching that.
That is all true. I mean, the long and the short of that is that's right. I slipped in my child's poo and then landed there while I was naked.
Yeah. But it's just, I mean, it's true, but then you describe it in a brilliant way that makes it funny.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, it was heartbreaking in the moment. That's usually what comedy is. Tragedy plus time. Something horrific happens, and in the moment, because I remembered my partner was away because I was looking after my children who at the time were, which you've just met, my two daughters, who were, the youngest was about 18 months old, so a year and a half.
Yep.
And the second one was then about, 3.5. And yes, my wife was out doing some yoga. I had to look after him. And yes, the end of the story is I'm laying in the fecal matter of one of my daughters. Naked. And then when it was all said and done, my wife came home and was like, how was it? And I was like, I'll tell you how it was.
Silver lining is...
I don't know if you've noticed, this is an Armani that you're smelling now. This is not right.
Silver lining is you got a story and 134,000 plus know about it. So
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Is that
mate.
good or bad?
Yeah, just more people know.
It's funny because I wouldn't have known about it if it didn't happen.
Well, that is true.
It's a good story.
Oh,
it's a good story.
Oh, so you give me some views?
It gives you some
Did
views.
you like the video?
I liked it and subscribed and
did you?
commented.
Jonesy,
some,
here we go.
Some hate comments I reckon I left on there for it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, for
thanks,
sure.
mate.
No worries. I thought you'd appreciate
Yeah,
that.
this guy needs to pick his socks up. What is
Come
he
on.
doing?
Yeah.
Did you give it to me all useless as what was it?
Concrete parachute.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. No, they are good stories. They are good stories. I was just wondering because I feel like some, not you, but Jimmy Carr. What other comedians have I seen? He's probably the main one, but I just find it like, how can that even happen? Like the stories that he says. But there you go. I just wanted to see if it was completely.
Did you want
whack.
to? So back to one of your first questions, which was like when he throws something out that's fairly heinous.
Yes.
Well, if we're getting technical on this, and this is when some people call it dissecting the frog, which means You've dissected the frog. You've understood how the frog works. But guess what? Now the frog is dead. So when you're quite often dissecting stand-up, it's not fun because at the end of it all, you're like, now I know how it works. It wasn't that fun, that process, dissecting it all.
Yes.
But that's comedy. But it's like dissecting music. It's not fun. If you're into that, that's great. But it doesn't make the song sound better necessarily. It just means you've understood what it...
Yeah. Could you relate that to sport?
I mean, if you are sitting, players would say, if you're watching video and going, have a look at that, see how they're defending right there, you've got to go in here, and that pocket there is where you're going to be open. That's not necessarily a fun process to enjoy the sport.
Yeah,
you will
true.
learn
You're being
it more.
forced to do.
You're being forced to do it.
I just spilt some H2O.
And I bet you there's some players that would say, "Oh, Jesus."
That's all right.
So it's this. So it's in the similar vein. When you're dissecting it, it's not fun per se, but it will make you understand it. So, but the thing is with comedy. Comedy is its surprise. Something that makes you laugh has to be a surprise. And surprise and shock are very close in relationship. If you think about it, like a surprise is something, we've had nice. Shock is, that's gone too far and I've shat my pants. So they're very on the spectrum of what's enjoyable and not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like some people might find a surprise nice where they give you a present. Some people like the surprise of going on a roller coaster and almost having their insides feels like hurled out of their mouth. So surprise is all relative. It's all like, is that fun? We'll see how that... So then you think comedy's the same. It's like some people might find it fun that it would be a nice clean joke and something that's like, this is a bit of fun. I can tell that to my grandmother.
Yeah.
That's quite amusing. Or some people think it's funny when something's crook as all hell and they're laughing at it. Like Anthony Jeselnik is another comedian. If you've seen him, it's very dark. It's very stuff that you're like, that's a lot.
You only say that to your workmates.
Yeah. And then so in that spectrum, it depends how you're performing. But then obviously Jimmy has... accumulated enough fans to go, no, that's exactly what I want. And I want to hear something really crook.
You know what you're in for when you say Jimmy. So, if you're a woke, is woke the word, or person that doesn't like racism, if you were to walk in, you've just got yourself into trouble.
But I think in that debate, in that capacity, I just say ignore Jimmy, and people go, that's really bad. It's like, but if you don't enjoy it, by actually saying, look what he's doing, you're actually strangely bringing it out to a bigger audience. If you just didn't say anything, just don't magnify it, don't amplify it, and just let him be that. I mean, to me, people could say, you can't stand for that racism. It's like, well, I don't know. It's a long life if you're trying to stamp that out your entire life. They are jokes. For the people who enjoy them, let them enjoy them, and then just turn away, really.
Is there anything you wouldn't joke about? What's pushing the boundaries?
See, it's hard in that question because then people think there's topics, but every topic I think can be made a joke of. But it's how that joke is then created.
Perceived, created.
Yeah. So I don't think there's a topic that's off limits, but it depends how you've tackled that topic. So that would be, I don't think, I wouldn't think there's a topic that I wouldn't make a joke about. However, it depends where it's angled at. Like, if it's about, some of those ones you go, that's not funny at all. I wouldn't find it funny. But then I'm like...
A lot of people do.
Some people do.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one. See what I'm saying? Like this. That's why I said this conversation. You learn more about it. It's not exactly funny.
Yes. No, that's valid.
As he shuffles through his sheets, looking for somewhere else to go.
I know. I'm just thinking of something. It's just, have you ever told? I mean, feel free not to answer. Have you ever told a racist joke in front of people?
No.
No. That's good. That's good. That's good? Yeah, that's good.
Should be. I mean, there can be jokes that sit on the topic of race, but they're not racist.
Yeah. So what do you base your comedic shows about?
Usually first-person stories.
Yep.
But then also what's happening in the greater world. So then you're just like, there's other things you might be talking about or whatever. So I don't necessarily go that hard. And that's when people ask me about heckles, I don't really lead with my chin. And when I say that, I don't really go out there and say really pointed stuff where someone's going to go, mate, what's that about?
Yeah.
You
go.
No, I was just saying, that's mainly my stuff.
Right.
So it's not necessarily... Yeah, it's not necessarily things that are as, what would be the word, controversial as Jimmy Carr.
So you don't get too many hecklers?
Not necessarily. I mean, you sometimes get some ones thrown out. But then for me, when I talk to people in the audience, and Thomas has come to a couple of my shows, it's usually me just having fun with them. I'm not sitting there to be like, what are you doing? Like, I'm just like, I just have a conversation with people.
Yeah.
Which sounds like it wouldn't be dissimilar to what you're like, Jonesy.
No, exactly.
Just a bloody affable guy having a chat with people.
Yeah, bloody oath. I've got the Big Trip here, which is the TV show that's just come out.
Oh, Chase 7.
Yeah. Well,
your favourite.
This is. I mean,
You watch the footy.
Watch the footy.
You know
Channel
Jim Jeffries from 1%. It's one of your favourite bloody channels, mate.
I mean, Uncle Toby's. I've actually got I'll say all the things you've done because I don't think I've actually given you an intro. So we're doing you an intro 50 minutes in.
50 minutes in.
So
you're nothing but a professional.
Organisation 101.
I did not want to order a pizza from you. It is going to be late. You won't know exactly what's on the toppings.
I know.
You'll come back an hour later and be like, oh, I was supposed to put some salami on that.
You got jam cheese instead. Oh, so you've been a host for the Big Trip, Channel 7.
Yes.
The project multiple times. So you're getting around Channel 10, Channel 7. Do you have a favourite?
They're all good, mate.
Oh, you gotta say
Come on,
that.
mate.
You gotta say
Come on, mate.
Radio on Nova.
Yes, I was on Nova for a little bit.
Good Morning Australia.
Oh, that was my first ever stand-up. Wait, how do you know that?
It's just called Creep. I'm a creep.
Is it?
I said earlier, have you ever seen anyone that's
Yeah.
creepy? You know, you're looking at him right now.
See, admittedly, I didn't know the name of this podcast. It should be called The Restraining Order with Jonesy.
Hosted a show called Studio A, 2008 to 2000.
On community television.
I was one.
You were one.
I was one.
This is frightening. You've made me feel odd. Community television, which is also a place you can get a lot of experience, mate.
Yep.
You could get that. Go down to Channel 31 in Melbourne. You could do some commentary, I reckon, for them.
Channel 31. This is not a rude comment, but does anyone listen to them?
Well,
Channel 31.
Channel 31. It's watching, but then TV channel, mate.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd take Channel 7.
You're saying is anyone watching? No, but it's good experience. You're there. You'd be live on mic.
You're not wrong. Uncle Toby's old ads. Can I put out a comment here? I can't find it.
Okay. Oh, thank Christ.
No. Why can't I find it?
I don't know if anyone's lining up to record it and put it on YouTube. I don't think it came and it went, and I was very, very lucky to get it. Because, and I can be honest with you about this, Jonesy. When you do ads, you make money, and so I have overheads. You've seen my children.
No, you don't have to answer that. I was actually last
time.
Penalty
rates, 19.50.
Minimum wage for an Oakland Uncle Toby's. Acted in Upper Middle Class Bogan.
Upper Middle Bogan, yep, that's right.
Happy with that? Good with that?
I mean, yes, I played Troy, who's extremely bogan. I mean, one of the things that hurt me, mate, was that I didn't have to audition. They just went, you're bogan enough.
Bogan.
You've got this.
Yeah.
I think they knew. They said, you grew up in Geelong? I said, yep.
In some American, I heard a story about you were an Aussie. Obviously, you're an Aussie. And they were like, yeah, you're an Aussie. And then they said about dangerous animals. And you're like, yeah, nosh. Like, yeah, of course.
Yes, that was the bit when
how it works.
When they asked, because this one guy, it actually happened. I was in Disneyland. So this is what I'm saying with that bit. I talk about I was on stage. There was no point in telling you I'm at Disneyland.
Yeah.
But I was there for radio actually, and a guy said that. He said, "Oh wow." He said, "Oh, there's snakes and spiders in Australia," and I was like, "Yeah, I guess, mate." And he goes, "You must live in the most dangerous country in the world." And I was like, "Yeah." I've seen the news. I don't know about your gun laws. I reckon we're coming a distant second.
Yes. But the fact that he was so proud about saying that.
He was actually a lovely guy, and he just come up to us. I don't know. It was very random. He came up and he was all those cliched things you hear about Americans where they're just. Aussies can be a bit more reserved. We're not exactly going to come up to every person and just go, "Oh, g'day, how you going?
Yeah.
What's going on?" But this guy was like, "Oh, you're from Australia." Like he was really happy.
It was
about
like he mustn't have thought that no one else on the planet thought that Australia had dangerous animals. He must have thought. It sounded like he was the first person to ever discover that Australia had dangerous animals.
Well, I find it quite funny because Americans do say that, and then I'm like, "You've got grizzly bears." Like those things. People will say that if you leave food out and a grizzly bear comes, you'll be camping, and a giant bear will be out the front of your tent just trying to nuzzle its way into getting some of your wheat bix. And I'm like, that's way worse. Like, I know a snake is pretty, like, it's venomous. I get all that. But a grizzly will rip you from limb to limb.
Yeah.
It's not ideal.
Pleasant. No,
it's not ideal.
It's not ideal. I'd rather not be ripped apart.
That's true.
I'd be more concerned, of an AK-47 than, Australia.
And then a brown snake. That's exactly right, my friend.
You'd be more likely to get shot than
yeah,
bitten.
I reckon. When people say, "Oh, snakes are more scared of you than you are of them,"
I find that hard to
I
believe.
think a guy with an AK-47, you're way more scared of him than he is of you.
Yeah,
you're not wrong.
You're not wrong. Yeah. So back to the big trip.
I like this research, mind you. I've done some interviews, mate, and it hasn't been this thorough.
It's called a statistician.
Tom's done it.
It helps when you kind of know each other. He'd know how many hairs are on your head, I reckon. Yeah. No. So the big trip. Back to this. a few interesting characters on there.
A few interesting characters.
What's it like hosting a TV show?
Yeah, it's good fun. Like,
fun.
I mean, the good thing is because in that circumstance for the big trip, there was a lot of challenges that would they put hair on your chest, as my dad used to say. Like there was night diving with sharks. You were being dangled from a crane. I'm trying to think of some of the others. There was some pretty intense stuff. And so the great thing as a host is you're like,
watching him.
You get to do that. I don't have to do it. So that I found a lot more. I found that a lot more fun than actually doing those things.
That's
Although all the contestants did an amazing job.
And they got out alive. So that's a good start.
Yeah, it is a win. It is a win.
It is a win.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. When did you
People
get the...
dying does tend to put a bit of like a sour note on things.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the greatest outcome if you had a dead person.
For a lot of things, to be honest.
For everything.
For most situations,
if you walked out of here
death is
dead,
real...
if you walked into this podcast and you came out dead, I wouldn't have a good name.
No.
My reputation would be detrimented.
That's true. There would be a black mark on the Sporting Fixes.
I think this podcast would be gone if you came out dead.
I mean, although the popularity may rise, they're like, the podcast that kills people.
Well, they might be like, yes, Thorno's dead.
Well, that's true. You say there's 130,000 fans that are into me. There's 7 billion people on the planet. The numbers are against me, mate. There's a lot more people that don't seem to be into this.
7 billion are on my side now.
You've won them over.
I know. When did you get the call up to host?
It wasn't a couple of months beforehand.
Were you like, yep, I'm in? Or were you like, give me a think?
Well, we didn't know about the show, so I didn't know what the show was. And you're like, oh, what's this show all about? And then I met Dan Collis, the guy who put it all together, and he was really nice. And I thought, yeah, this sounds like a lot of fun.
How long did you take to shoot it from start to finish?
Mate, it was only the 2 weeks because the whole series, that he'd say there's only 2 weeks to get from Woe to Go. So the whole start of the show is we're going to drive from the Nullarbor and get to Sydney within 2 weeks. Yeah. But then we had all these challenges along the way, and we did do it in 2 weeks. And that was a lot, mate.
Ned Brockman did it in like 40 days. Oh, that was from one end to the other.
I mean, Ned was running.
In
their defence, these guys are in cars.
Yeah.
They were in Kia cars.
Come on, Ned. Up your game.
So it was, it was a fair amount of work.
Yeah.
Because we had to film everything, get all these things done and all that kind of stuff. But it was fun.
Yeah.
Mate.
I've called a random person. It wasn't even me getting called. I think I called
Wait,
Oliver
you called
Burgess.
someone?
I called Oliver Burgess, and now my phone's overheating. That's fine. I don't need it.
OB, what's he up to?
He's in... Actually, no, he lives in...
OB's in...
I'll give him the address while he's at it. No, right now he's in Singapore, but he was in England. How cool's that? Ollie's getting a genuine recap of his life on this podcast. I need to get funds. Pay me, Burgess.
I was waxing lyrical about making it to the Nullarbor to Sydney, and old mate's just going to Singapore. He's going to the UK.
Yeah, in a private jet. No, that's a lie. That is a lie. He's not. I mean, yeah, they're probably doing financially. They're not in ruins.
No,
but I wouldn't.
I mean, if the family's doing that, they're doing. Or they're running from the law.
England.
Like it's one or the other.
Yeah, a couple. Have you seen Carry On, the new movie? Because this was, this bloke's running from lawyers trying to put a bomb in a plane and get over there. I reckon that's what Burjo's doing.
Really?
Yeah.
You really besmirched his reputation.
Yeah, I know.
He doesn't. I mean, if they are well off and they've got lawyers, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I know. We are. Yeah, sorry. Maybe cut that out.
Jonesy, it's in there now.
Look out.
Thomas.
Look out.
I do like it that Thomas has actually written down. Yeah. Maybe we need to cut this out.
He's shaking. I know. We're in a bit of trouble.
You know what I like about this setup is that I genuinely want you to climb the ranks. Like I said, it feels like from the get-go, in that world that I was painting, 10 years from now, you're commentating.
Oh.
I think you do need Thomas here as your right-hand man.
Tommy's got
just to be going. I know you think it's a good idea, Jonesy, but we're just not going to do it.
He's got the brains. I've had some ideas that are probably you wouldn't want to go ahead, and only because this bloke said no.
No, you always need people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Believe me. Anyone that you think has been popular, has been famous, there's usually someone behind the scenes that is working it out and keeping them on the rails.
Yep. There's this bloke over here. If without him, I'd be in jail.
That's what I'm saying, Jonesy. You seem like a nice guy. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
You also seem like the kind of guy.
A bit loose.
Yeah. You're the kind of guy that I'm overseas with going, why are we in jail again? Like, why has this happened yet again? And you're like, I thought it was a fun thing to say. And then
actually,
what do you know?
Yeah.
For all the things the pizza oven has done, you cross the wrong bloke.
Yeah.
And then he's going to take out a kneecap.
I feel like, yeah. I mean, if you think about the things that everyone's done, like if I look at myself, and I've probably said some
Across
stuff
the
that
17 years that
across
Jonesy's been on the face of the planet.
if I've said something in public, because I've said stuff, obviously, that's what happens. You talk with your mouth. You talk. If I've
But I
said
reckon
that in
you've
public,
said a lot.
I've said a
I'm
lot.
saying on the mileage, like, you know, an odometer on a car
Yeah.
where they show how much Ks you've
Yeah.
ripped through. If you were talking about words compared to Thomas,
Yeah. Oh.
because like again, I've sat at Chris's table with this man.
Yeah.
I have sat.
He's
with,
quiet.
Yeah, I'm saying you've run hot.
I'm saying he's quiet because I'm loud.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm the one. He can't talk because I'm talking. I'm saying I'm on the 99999 on the odometer.
Yeah,
You know, I
it's-
can't
it's
go any
running hot.
further. It's
And-
running hot.
And he's still like,
He's on 0.
mate, he's pretty much.
One.
Well, they say like showroom ready still.
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
if you got him as a car, you'd be like, this is basically new.
I'd be unroadworthy like Toby, I reckon. Tommy would be like a flash Tesla, brand new, and I'd be a Commodore.
So Jonesy, okay, we'll get back to this. So yeah, you've said things upon reflection of the 17 years you've been here on the face of the planet.
Yes.
Do you? I mean, what have you thought? Have you thought you got yourself into a bit of strife that maybe you didn't have to be?
No, well, I haven't got myself in a strife, but I've been like, I'm just saying, if I've said the stuff I've said in public, I could be in strife.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Behind closed doors,
I
you've
feel
said
like-
certain things.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, and, you know, but that's okay.
Is this why you're so concerned about cancelling?
Yeah, this
because
is
you're
why-
like, oh, this is.
I've got this bloke here to protect me. I don't know. I've probably said some bad stuff on here that's been canned out.
There's been a couple of edits, but what I do like is that you haven't listened back.
Yes.
There's a lack of professionalism there, Jonesy.
He could have just
You
left it
don't
out.
know
He could have
what's-
left it on the episode and I wouldn't even know. I'll be like, the cops are coming. What's this for, mate? What have I done? But no, yeah. I mean, everyone. I'm assuming you've said some stuff.
I
that's
see.
probably
This is a
been great.
really good lesson for you to learn
Mm.
because they always say your best friend on a TV shoot, on a radio show, is always the editor and the
Yeah.
audio guys and the camera guys because they've got you saying everything.
He's looked after me.
And so what we're saying is that, see, if it turns, do you know what I mean?
Oh.
If it turned, like if you
Oh.
did something,
Oh,
who knows?
oh.
Like you cut Tommy's lunch one
Oh,
time,
no.
like you were at a party, things
Oh,
are going
no.
well, and then he goes, "I've got you, champion," and
He
then he
has.
just releases all the stuff that you've said on this pod that you shouldn't have.
He has all that, and that is scary.
So he
Has power over
way
me.
more power than you do.
That is frightening.
See, that's when you say, "Oh, the people." That's why the statistician again. You always go like, "Yeah, but wouldn't you want to be the one on mic?" Like, da. The real power comes from the people who are actually creating it.
You
all.
never know with this bloke. He's sneaky. He could be like using. He could have every file of Jonesy's bad stuff ready to just pounce. I never know with him, but nah, he's good. And yep, please do not release anything that I've said that could be bad. That would be much
Well,
appreciated.
you've just got to respect Tommy.
Yep,
Well,
respect Tommy. Look after him. Hopefully, Have I done that? There we go. I'm on good.
So
terms.
far, I
So
like
far.
you've kept him on a short
You
leash.
never know.
So far.
So far. What do we talk about now? You know, I've got a few questions.
What else have you
a few
got, mate?
questions. Well, I've got a
We've hit the hour. How long are we going?
Well, how long have you got?
Oh, mate. I mean,
Be here to midnight. No. We've got.
well, Tommy's dad, mum are looking after my kids at this point in
hopefully they're
time,
gonna
so
do-
I could do a couple of days. I'm pretty happy to back away.
Maybe they'll be swimming in poo right now instead of you.
That needs context, please.
Yeah, if you did skip to an hour.
Get
and
on my
3,
YouTube page.
Go-
You'll see the video.
Yeah, correct. That's probably another thing that could get you canned. What inspired you to pursue a career in comedy? Because you were a graphic designer.
That is true, mate.
So why did you become a comedian? They're two polar opposites, aren't they?
Yeah. I don't like the anger that you put in your voice by saying, why become a comedian?
Why?
Isn't
No,
it-
no.
Isn't it just
Mate, if you weren't a
blatantly
comedian,
obvious? Isn't it just the natural talent that is oozing out of you from
Come
across the table?
I'd rather talk to a comedian than a graphic designer.
That is true.
Not saying that a graphic designer's bad. I'm just saying I'd get along with a comedian more, like this.
Yeah, that is true. Mate, it's a very good question. I think I fell for the thing is that stand-up comedy looks easy. That's
Yeah.
what I fell for. Because I thought, you're just talking rubbish. This will be fine. And then after 20 years, I'm like, oh, this is actually quite hard. So that's, in a nutshell, what I think I fell for.
Yeah, well, you've been grinding away. Haven't
I
you?
wouldn't say grinding. I'd say I've been doing all right, mate, okay?
No, grinding away. To get to this point, you weren't an overnight success, were you?
Well, I like to think I was doing all right when I was younger, okay?
Nah,
mate?
he was terrible as a young kid. No. Yeah, I want to know what the process was in building a career. From start to now, when you were like, right, I just want to talk dribble on stage and get a few laughs.
Well, in stand-up comedy, anyone can do it, but unfortunately, that's the problem. Anyone can do it. So you get up on stage, you find an open mic room, you get up there, you try it out, and you just keep going. That's as simple as it is, but that's also as hard as it is. You've got to keep getting up on stage. Even if it doesn't go well, you get back up on stage, you keep going.
Do you get nervous before each one, or you kind of...
Sometimes, like these days, no. But then also there could be some big ones where you're like, okay. Like, when it's live TV and things, you can sometimes get a bit, okay, this is happening.
Right. Yeah.
But then the cameras are rolling and you start moving and everything's fine. But yeah, it can be at times a little unsettling.
When was the first time you did your stand-up?
First time? Well, the first time, which I don't classify as necessarily the start of my career because I was just messing about. Because for about 2 years, I went backpacking and just kind of did it in different countries, like once every 3 months or something. But the first gig was 2002 at Geelong Performing Arts Centre.
There you go. How'd it go?
For Raw Comedy. Very badly, Jonesy.
Oh, boy. Oh,
boy.
Can you talk us through it, or
What
is it
a
just
stinker.
a bit of PTSD?
It's just good to talk about it, though.
Good to talk about.
You know what I mean? This is cheaper than therapy.
Yeah.
I think I'm still getting paid, yeah? I'm still getting paid.
I'll be your psychologist. Yeah, still getting paid.
Yeah,
mate,
great.
If you talk
I'm earning money and I'm talking about it.
If you talk about this story, you get paid more. Pay rise, mate.
Do you?
Minimum wage to decent.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Although I have heard double of nothing is still nothing. So even though the rate has gone up.
Yeah, it could be losing it all.
Mate, it was very bad because I hadn't really been on a stage before. So I was not used to the lights, not used to the microphone, not used to all of that stuff. And then not really anticipating that you've got, at the time it was 300 people or something, just hanging off your every word. And I was not ready for that.
Did you crumble, or would you say...
Crumbled a bit. I had a bit of a pause. I got up. They say that Buddhist monks spend decades trying to have complete harmony in their brain where there's not a thought running through it. But I reached that point when I walked on stage because not a thought was coming through my head. And I went quiet for, every second on stage that people are listening to you and nothing's coming out feels like an hour. So it was probably only about 5-8 seconds, something like that. But it was a lot.
Yeah.
And then I collected myself, got a couple of laughs. It wasn't great. Like 5 minutes of not getting a lot of laughs is... And
it felt like...
It felt like an eternity.
Yeah.
And then you walk off. And it's funny when you do something like that, I found out too, it's like you've got some terminal disease that if anyone looks at you or touches you, they'll catch it as well. And then my mates were just looking away and like...
Oh, who is this bloke?
What is going on? But then if you can get through all of that, probably it'd be the same stats as what Tommy was explaining with the podcast. I reckon 99% of people do not go on with it. And then I reckon 1% of people push past probably the 10 gigs.
So... Big man, you're in the top 1%.
Thank you, mate. That's what I was angling for, to be honest.
Yeah, he was waiting for me to say it.
I just wanted a compliment from you. I just wanted to hear it.
Yeah, no worries. You got it there.
Thank you, mate. I did corner you, but yeah, still, it was good.
I have a question here, but you've kind of already answered about how do you come up with your shows, but it's all like the stories you said that you've experienced.
The stories, yeah. I sit there and I actually do type it out, and I try and work through it in the morning and then do a gig that night and see if I can work it out.
So it's all about it's remembering it all? Like, do you ever forget?
Yeah, early days I did forget a lot, but now I've done it for long enough that it's kind of in there and I can work it all out.
Yeah.
But yeah, early days I did.
Did you draw inspiration from anyone? Any comedians?
Yeah, absolutely. Like all the stand-ups that I started. Mate, when I started, these are probably all people that are now very old, probably. Billy Conley, if you know Billy Conley.
Is he living?
Just, yes.
Okay,
I
so
think
he's
Billy's
nearly
still hanging
under.
on. Yeah.
Other side of the dirt soon. Nah, that's all right.
Well, like we said,
you never know.
Death really does put a bad sour taste.
We were going to say, we were talking about you being on the other side of the dirt half an hour ago. So, no.
It was guys like that.
Really positive.
I used to watch old comedy movies and so things like that. And I'm trying to think of other stand-ups that, I love Australian stand-up. So there's a lot of guys that now my mates, but like I used to watch Will Anderson and Hughesy and Pete Hallier and Tom Gleeson and Denise Scott and Judith Lucy and all those guys. And then so now, now you're doing gigs with them. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. What's your favourite moment? If you look, we've been a lot of negatives. We'll go to the positive. Your favourite moments on a stage. So if you were to go back to one show or whatever that was like, yep, I freaking nailed that. Where are you going?
Yeah, there's been some really fun gigs, like good gigs. Gigs that you just go, that is a cracker. Some gigs where it's like they've just stood out because of how crazy it's been. Like I did the Edinburgh Fringe Festival God, now almost 15 years ago. And I remember this is a weird one because the last night of the Fringe Festival, because Scotland's just above England, where Scotland had a day off, so it was a Monday, so it was a long weekend, but England did not have a day off. But that was the last day of their festival. And so you're on a Monday night trying to get people into your show at the last day of the festival when most people didn't have the day off. And I remember I was there and 6 or 8 people turned up. I think it was 6. And I said, can I just cancel the show? It's the last one. Because festivals run for about a month. Yeah. And this was the last show and I'd had enough. And I just said, can I just cancel this and go home? Yeah. But the people running the venue said, no, we don't cancel shows. We're doing this. And I was like, this is terrible. And so I said to him, I walked out on stage and I said, all right, I'm going to go, come with me to the bar. I'm going to buy you all a beer. If you want me to keep going on with this show, we can, or we can just sit at the bar and just talk it out. Yeah. It's up to you. So I took him to the bar, got him a beer. I let them sit with themselves for about 10 minutes. I came back and said, what do you want? And they go, no, we're happy to see the show. And I was like, all right. So then I sat on stage and I sat on a stool and I just told them all about the month. I told them all about what's been going on. We're actually having a lot of fun. We got to know each other to the point where the techie said, the hour's up. You've got to finish it up because another show's coming in. I said, all right, let's keep going. We'll go to the bar. And so we went to the bar, kept hanging out with them, and then finished. It was just me and another dude. Yep. We were hanging out, this Scottish guy. And if you know, Scots are notoriously frugal, so they don't like spending money. But I was buying a lot of the drinks, so he was happy. Yeah. And he had a girl with him because I said, what happened to the girl? Oi. And then he said to me in a very heavy Scottish accent, which... apologies, it just is funnier if he swears. Do it. Where he looked at me and he said, I just met her tonight and I took her to your show. And he said, I wasn't really getting along with her. It was better hanging out with you. And I got to tell you, big man, this has been the best fucking night of my life. And I was like, what a great night.
That is a good accent. Wait, what other ones can you do?
Well,
give it. I'll list a
this
few.
is starting to err into the Jimmy Carr area. I'm not going to do accents that are pushing it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll list some. If you don't want to do it, no worries. You've done your Scottish, Irish.
Oh, man, I don't know if I can do this because there's been...
Irish? How do you...
Yeah, it depends.
Down the ground? I don't know. How's it go?
Well, Northern Irish, they're a bit more... I'm trying to think.
Ireland?
Yeah, down.
Yeah,
I can't... God, now it's even hard to
New
do.
Zealand? Do a Kiwi. Oh, I can't do it.
You can do it.
New Zealand.
Sure. Yeah,
that's all I know.
You're flattening it out. Absolutely.
Ib. They do Ib.
Yeah, fashion, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm terrible
Fantastic.
with when I do an American. No, it's bad. You do one. You were good. You were good. Although Canadian and Americans, can you define the difference between them?
Canadians say about, so instead of about.
Oh, they say about.
About. You hanging about?
Oh,
that's
really?
Yeah, when you hear them.
Oh, fair enough. I genuinely thought they were practically the same. But
yeah, there's been a flat part of the pod. Tommy, cut this out. Get the time
Tommy,
on, mate.
cut it out. Another thing that's going to go into the archives. You'll use that against me when we... Nah. You know, you've talked about how you've had a show that's everything's gone wrong. Or, I don't know about everything, but things have gone wrong.
Things have gone wrong, yeah.
Can you give us a story about a time where you're on stage and it was just as bad as it could get?
I'm trying to think of some. Yeah, there's been some shockers. I mean, actually, that one it was actually in Edinburgh because in Edinburgh, the entire city gets taken over by this Fringe Festival. It's not just stand-up comedy. There's performances of all kinds. You're probably doing podcasts there. Everyone's doing all this stuff.
We might have to join them,
mate. Head on down.
Never know.
But because of that, it gets a lot of international audiences. It gets audiences from America, from Canada, from Europe, from it's just a melting pot of people, and so you just never know who's going to turn up. And it's always weird because you also think, like, who's going to be in the audience and whether they're going to get along with you. Like, I remember one night at Edinburgh, I walk out and all the front row are kids that are under, like, 9 years old.
What?
And I was like, what's going on here? And the parents are like, oh, it's fine, it's fine. I said, yeah, but you know what this kind of show is? Like,
I wouldn't say it's appropriate.
It's stand-up comedy.
For a 9-year-old?
Yeah, it's stand-up comedy. And I said, is everything all right? And they said, yeah. And to break the tension, I said to one of the girls, and it looked like butter would melt in her mouth. Like she was just this cutest little girl. She had red hair. I still see her now, just piercing blue eyes. And she sat there and she had a big grin on her face. And I said, I tell you what, to break the tension, why don't you into the microphone say the worst word that you know, the worst swear word that you know. And this in front of her parents.
What did she say?
Well, her eyes just lit up. And in her beautiful little accent, she just goes, I went, oh, okay, that's nice.
Lovely.
And her parents laughed and they got a photo with me because they're like, no, it's fine. We expected that. It did whatever. So like, okay. But then this other night, I remembered you just have nights where audiences aren't laughing and people think, oh, it's always the comedian's fault. And you're like, it's not necessarily. People, you can do a show and you've done pretty much the same show for however long, and then on that night, people just aren't laughing. They're just not into it. And it's just weird.
Be so deflating.
Yeah, because I know musos have said the same thing. They're like, yeah, you play the same songs, but yet some nights people are like, no, it's all right. Like they're just not into it. And you go, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And as a performer, that's the energy. That's the thing that pushes you over the top. If the people are into it, you're like, mate, we're up and about. Here we go.
Yeah.
But in this particular night, no one's laughing. And it's an hour-long show. And I'm talking 20 minutes in, I haven't really got a huge laugh. But there was these 3 people in the corner, and they were into it.
Yeah.
But everyone else wasn't.
Yeah.
And because for me, with an audience, you're lit on stage, but the audience is dark. So you can't really see who the individuals are. You can just hear them not laughing. And I'm like, oh, you know, da-da-da-da, bang. And then you hit a punchline and they're like, I guess. And the 3 people will be like, nah. And you go, and that sounds almost worse because it's, could you imagine a room full of people? There's just a couple of people going, nah. And everyone else is like,
it would be better for it to be silent because then they don't actually know if it's the joke or not. Whereas if you've got a couple of people, did you point out to them saying, oh, thanks, guys?
Well, they said there was a bit of that. I'm like, oh, you guys are into it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so this 20-minute mark, and comedians know this, that you can have some lines in your show where you're like, surely this one's going to land. Like, this one's a good line, it's funny. And I said the joke, and then those 3 people did laugh. But the strange thing was, it was like there was a spokesperson for the rest of the quiet audience, like they'd nominated someone, and this person leant across to those people laughing and just went, shh. And just told them to shut up. And I'm like, I start laughing because I'm like, it's like you're like, no, we're here to break him.
We've literally come in here to be silent.
Just break his hopes and dreams. Like, I don't want to encourage him.
Told him to shut up at a stand-up
And the funny thing was,
comedy.
that was in Edinburgh. The next year, I would open by telling that story. I say, this is what happened to me last year.
Yeah.
And then these people start laughing, like, really hard. And I said, what? And they go, we're the 3 people.
Oh.
They were like, we're the guys. And when they go, we
That
came
is
back.
cold.
We were there. And we were like afterwards saying that we can't believe no one else is laughing. Like, this poor guy's working his ass off. And I thought, that's really nice. So there you go, kids. Even if a couple hundred people aren't laughing, 3 were, they came back.
I cannot. Telling them to shut up at a comedy.
It's brutal, isn't it?
That is brutal. Absolutely. We've talked about hecklers, and you don't get too many, and you handle them pretty well.
Not too many. Like I said, I try to have fun with them
Yeah.
rather than... I mean, sometimes people are... I hate to say this because this is pretty judgmental, but I would say the most dangerous people in an audience are middle-aged drunken women.
Ah,
And this
in
is
what way?
This is my theory. That being men... And we probably... I don't know. You guys... Well, I'd like to think you're at an age where you haven't drank alcohol. I'd like to know, boys.
No, never touched it.
Good to hear. But when you are a young fella and when I say that, obviously over 18, 21 in some countries, but and you're out, probably not as much these days, but when I was younger, if you got too loudish, security would just drag you out. Now, they'd rough you up to what level, who knows, but they at least will grab you, throw you out. You could even get maybe a couple of cheeky whacks on the way. So I think men learn to be like, oh, I got to shut up.
Yeah.
When I don't think you should do that. But then a woman has they've never learnt that there's consequences sometimes if you go a little, go hard. So then there's middle-aged women that always find that if they're really drunk, it's always been a middle-aged woman where you're like, that is great that you are, and they're usually not heckling to like, this shit. They're just like, yeah, that happened to me once. And I remember that. My kids did the same thing. And I was saying it. And you're like, that's really nice. It's great that you're involved. But it's just that, like,
You tone it down
just
a bit,
let the
you know.
performer perform.
Yeah.
But they're like, no, I just wanted to say. And you're like, yeah. Because I think they also think you're talking to them.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah.
And you think, no,
Yeah.
you need to be quiet now.
Do you-
so that's, I always say, and this is a rule of thumb, this is just that they're the most dangerous audience members.
Do you tell them to shut up, or do you just let the security?
No,
do the security kind of do it themselves? Say, come on, let's just calm down.
It's always a thing of like, I will talk to an audience and I'll be like, hey, like in friendly, fun way, hey, like it's just that people want to hear performers. So, if you could tone it down, that'd be great. And usually that does work. But if they keep going, you do have to go, security. And then they'll say, hey, you've had a good run, but see you later.
Yeah, that's valid.
Sorry about that. Which is, I'm not saying... I'm not judging you, Jonesy, but I got a feeling that as an older man,
I'll be one of those people.
You'll be one of those people.
I'll be going to your show and I'll be yapping, thinking it's all about me, and then forget old mates on stage.
Yeah, you would have had a few drinks and you feel like you're commentating. And here he is at the microphone. Yeah. He's been absolutely on a purple patch.
Lurking dangerously to the left-hand corner. Left-hand side.
Prowling the stage like an apex predator.
Feasting. He's a beauty. And you'll be like,
Stepping with a raking left foot.
yeah, onto the left slipper. Through the post.
Working through the words and the syllables with absolute ease.
Oh, it just rolls off the tongue. No. I probably would actually. I'll do it to yours, and then you'll be like, who is this bloke?
Who is this guy?
Yeah. Anyway.
No, what I'll do, right, I can get you to a show, and what I'd prefer more is like a boundary rider.
Yeah.
So I'll do my bits,
Over
and then I go, Jonesy, what's been happening out there? And you're like, wow, geez, Dave, what can I say? Electric down here in the audience. However, we've got a few people that I think maybe are tittering on security dragging him out. The tension, you could cut it with a knife.
They're on the edge of their seats. They're thinking, oh boy, I want to get involved in this David Thornton commentary. I want to get up on stage. I want to start to get some attention. Yeah. I'll be like, yeah, we've got some bloke. I've just knocked the camera.
Yeah, but we're going to have a small break. Everyone will go to the bar, get some drinks. We'll see what they're like when they come out in the second half. Back to you, Thorner.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to book in a taxi tonight, lads. Wouldn't trust them behind a wheel on Burke Street tonight. Keep them away from the driving.
I'm happy with this.
Yeah, you happy with that?
Mate,
I reckon.
happy with
Jonesy, over to you.
Yeah.
No worries, Thorno.
Oh, jeez, I tell you what.
Yeah,
no one
I'm
sees the
actually
video now.
cooking.
I'm sweating.
I'm
Yeah.
actually cooking.
That's all right.
Oh boy. You've had a lot of moments. Can we take a break? Can I take a break? I need a breath.
And we're back.
We are back. We did take a break because it was 50 degrees outside and it's about 70 degrees in here. And we needed to get some watermelon water and just cool down. So, and there's a little bit to go now, but that break was needed. Couple of questions to go. If you weren't a comedian, what would you be doing? I know you're a graphic designer, but, what would you be doing if you weren't a comedian?
Probably being a pest, because then everyone else would have to listen to my stories rather than an audience.
Yeah,
so that would be
valid. That's valid.
Yep. One of those weird guys that turns the volume down and just does their own commentary. Do you know what I mean? One of those weird, like, just, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I know.
What are you doing?
I know. You get a few of those coming around here, don't you?
Bit on the nose.
Yeah, I know.
It's a bit, what is that
It's
about?
like, holy moly.
Yeah, jeez, what's going on? I've had a brain aneurysm. But I probably would still be a graphic designer.
Still would.
Yeah, we were just talking about this on the break, weren't we? Because Tommy's brother Jack is very creative, and I said, I don't know, it's in our family. You're going to do something creative for the better or the worse.
Yep.
You're in the arts somewhere.
If you weren't a graphic
So
designer,
I just don't like getting paid consistently, is what I'm saying. I like not knowing when the next paycheck's coming along.
That's really ideal. If you weren't a comedian and you weren't a graphic designer, what would you do? Get rid of those two. What would you want to do?
I genuinely look. There were long nights of the soul, which we all had during lockdowns. But then I was thinking being a barber would be okay. But then I think, but I might get over it. But again, that's kind of like creative.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
That's not really shooting for the stars. But that's not that. I mean, being a barber is a very talented profession. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it is. If you,
by the looks of things, you haven't had a good one
I
in
need
a while.
one. And I'm actually due for one now because I was going to get one today, but then obviously you've stepped in and said, nah. I will talk to you.
Oh,
instead.
you're busy. You've got
I've
stuff
got
on.
priorities. No, but I am due for one.
It's a pretty good mullet you got there, Jonesy.
It'll get better. It'll get better. I actually haven't had a haircut for a few months now, so it is due.
Is that the result of said, like just leaving it for that long?
Yeah, it's just
because there's a real party
mess.
at the back at the moment.
It is a party at the back, and it's a party at the front. It's everywhere. I will get next time. If you listen to the next episode, I think I'll have a different.
Leave your comments, guys.
Yep.
What do you think he needs?
No, please don't. A lot of them will be hate, but that's okay. I don't look at them. I don't listen to them.
Well, maybe you should.
Maybe.
Just in this case,
selective.
Just
I will this time.
Just get a stylist. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? If you're going to be work commentary,
but the good thing is with a hairdresser, you blame them. You can't go wrong.
Oh yeah.
I just blame them. Like, it's not actually my fault, it's always them. So that's a good thing.
You've just been years on a bad hot streak.
I said I wanted a mullet, they gave me a buzz cut.
Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah,
it's the worst.
Anyway, the best story, right? If you tell me one story, it doesn't have to be, just anything you've experienced, the best, funniest story.
Mate, I've just told you some absolute
belters. I know, but which one's the best? Which one's the best?
Well, that's for you to decide.
No, this is in your perspective.
What, so you want to hear... So in other words, you want to hear a good story?
I want to hear a good story.
Well, this one is... I find this story very funny in that there was, or still is, there's a comedian, a Canadian guy by the name of... Oh, now his name. It's so hot. You start... those things, they just start leaving your head and you're like, oh, God. God, I can see his face now.
That's all right.
But look, this guy, he's a very blue performer.
What does that mean?
That means he works very crass material.
Okay.
Like his stuff is full on.
Okay.
And so it's not what you were talking about before, racist or controversial, but it's just very crass and blue.
Yep.
Blue. Like it's the kind of, like you wouldn't bring your grandmother to that one.
Okay.
You would be like, okay.
Probably not great.
No.
Okay.
And he was performing in London and he did a show there and a guy came up to him afterwards and goes, you'd be great for a work function. I'd love to get you up and book you for this work function. And he said, well, you just saw what I did. Like, that's pretty crass. Like, do you think it's appropriate for work to? I'm like, absolutely. Like, it's fine. And then he's like, oh, okay, but I told you this is what I'm doing. So he said he drove about an hour and a half out of London and it's a very nice village in the United Kingdom. So it's very pleasant. It's in the middle of the afternoon and it's for a council gig. So you've got like the mayor there. It's all very stuffy.
Professional.
Yeah, very professional. And so he gets up and he starts his material and he did what he said and people are shocked. Like they're just mortified. They're like, I can't believe you're saying this in a professional environment. He's dying because they're all like going, this is so bad. The mayor hates him. Everything's going really badly. He gets off stage and he's just like, it just went terribly.
Yeah.
And he said to the guy who booked him, he goes, mate, I told you that's what I did. I told you it was going to be that. And everyone hates it. And the guy said, nah, that was perfect. Because you see, the mayor's my boss and I hate him and I'm going to quit next week.
No.
That was perfect.
Oh, jeez.
So he just lined him up to absolutely die in his hole, just as an FU to the boss.
That is gold. That is gold. I reckon that trumps the others, almost. The poo. No, sorry.
Someone's
The
being very
poo's
reserved
on
here.
top. The poo's on top.
Oh, you reckon the poo story?
Yeah, the poo story.
Again,
yes.
go to my YouTube page, guys.
Yeah,
You'll
go to
hear it all.
YouTube. Yeah, how many times do you want to say that? I reckon that's 15 for the day, but that's okay.
That's what I'm here for,
Check
mate.
out the YouTube. That's 16 now.
Mate, if this is what I'm here for.
Yeah, he's here for promotion. He's not here to chat to Jonesy. He's here to promote himself.
That's what we're going to do.
That's okay. We like that.
No, but the weird thing is I don't want to tell you the story. You've seen the story.
Oh, I've seen the story. We need others too.
Yeah.
So check out the YouTube poo story. It's pretty good. A dream guest you'd have dinner with. If you could have dinner with anyone, living, dead, in the future.
We having dinner together, Jonesy.
Oh,
here we go.
I was expecting that. I was waiting
This
for
is
that.
great.
That's what I wanted
Jam
to hear.
and cheese pizza.
Yes, that's what we like to see. You know what I'd choose?
Oh, I didn't ask, but yep.
I don't care. I'd choose Dave Thornton, I reckon.
Oh, thanks, mate. That is
worries.
nice.
No worries.
This has worked out really well.
Yeah, it has, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you could get a haircut before we do this dinner.
Maybe. No, we'll have Macca's drive-through. That's our dinner, I reckon. You don't need a haircut for that.
You really know how to treat a gal fine.
I know. It's really good. One joke, and then we'll get to the final bit.
One joke.
One joke that never fails to get laughs. You could tell me one joke that you have. I won't laugh. I promise.
Very hard to...
I won't laugh.
Yeah, but this is like you want a joke. I
want a joke.
You want an actual...
A joke.
Like you want a real joke?
Yeah, a real joke. Oh, no, I know where you're going.
No, but like a joke. Cause
I don't know if he's going to say me or... I don't know where he's going.
Yeah, your career, mate.
A real joke.
Oh no, I don't. I've got a couple, but I mean they're not for recording. They're the ones that you be at a pub and you go, okay, I've got one for you, but I'm just not really.
Well, we'll keep it. Whatever will keep you outside of prison, we can say.
Guys, if you want to hear some cracking jokes, YouTube page Dave Thornton. If you want to check it all out, that'd be great.
Listen to him.
It's very hard. You're asking a comedian to tell a joke.
Just tell a joke, mate.
What do you mean? Have you got one?
Yes.
Go on then.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Mate, I'm not the comedian. You're meant to know a joke.
Yeah, but do you see how awkward you feel?
Well, I'm not a comedian.
Yeah, but you feel awkward. I've got my professional reputation on the line.
Yeah, it better be funny. Actually, that is pressure.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You've come in all wrong.
Yeah.
It's like someone saying to you, like, all right, come, make me dance. And you're like, okay, and you can kind of grab the person like, I don't want to. And you're like, well, exactly. If you don't want to, I can't make you dance.
Fine, we'll let you slip on this one. But if you want to check out some jokes, Dave Thornton, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, X,
absolutely,
Facebook, every single social media. What social media platform are you not on?
I don't think I'm on. No, I'm not on Snapchat. That's for sure.
Snapchat. I don't know if that would be ideal.
Yeah, MySpace. I've given that off.
Yeah,
I'm off that.
There are many middle-aged.
Remember that?
Males on Snapchat. I find that rather concerning.
I don't want to question.
No, I don't want to question. I don't want to see who they've added to.
Great that I'm not on there.
Yeah, hopefully they get caught soon. Anyway, last bit. So this is a new thing to end, right? And then you wouldn't know this, and no one else wouldn't. Thomas has only just known this because I just thought of it last night, right? So prior to the interview,
Yes.
All right. I'm going around to 10 different people that I know, right? And I'm like, guys, Dave Thornton's coming on.
All right, what do we got?
What do we
Okay.
got? And I'm like, if you could ask him a
quick
question,
fire.
what would it be?
Yep.
So here we go.
Here we go.
How do you like your coffee?
With cheese and jam. Come on, keep going.
Do you like
mate,
your peanut butter crunchy or smooth?
Crunchy, actually. Used to be smooth, though.
If you could start a rumour about yourself, what would it be?
Uh,
I feel like The Chase, Australia. Channel 7 again.
Is this working itself up?
If you could start a rumour about yourself, what would it be?
That I started cheese and jam.
Really
Jonesy.
Oh, yeah. Ask Mr. Thornton if he enjoys Uncle Toby's oats for breakfast every day, or would he ever consider doing a beef advertisement? I think he could increase beef consumption, which would be a good thing for Australia.
Well, that sounds like. Did you interview a butcher? What's going on? That's the most random way to couch.
I'm talking. The people have spoken. Do you enjoy?
I know. I need to know because that is a very pointed question. I feel like
it's anonymous, mate.
it's anonymous.
Ask Mr. Thornton.
Well, yeah, okay.
How formal is this?
Well, yes, I do eat oats. I don't mind a bit of oats, but I do shake it up.
Is it
Beef's
Uncle
a lot
Toby's?
to have in the morning, though. I will concede.
No, not in the morning. Just would you ever consider doing a beef advertisement?
I just did a thing actually for a butcher's around here. So
There you go. It ticked off.
Done it.
Weirdest food combination you actually enjoy. Here we go.
I don't say I enjoyed it. That's the weirdest one I've heard. Okay. Weirdest combination that I've enjoyed. Actually, pineapple on pizza I hate. What things? Oh, I'm just trying to think. I don't think I have very unusual tastes. Oh, well, capricciosos, olives and mushrooms. You talked about that.
You like that? Is that weird though? I don't know. This is
not weird.
Quick fire. It's not weird. Weird. Quick.
I don't know
5,
what
4,
weird things
3.
that-
First car.
First car. Volkswagen Golf.
Biggest crowd you've performed at?
I think 10,000.
I've been told to write groupies.
Yeah, what about them?
I don't know.
I call my wife a groupie.
Groupie?
So, yep.
Do your kids know you're famous?
Don't know. One of them's asked it, but then it's a weird question to ask. So, I don't know. You'd have to ask them.
Okay, I'll ask them. Game over. Thanks for joining.
Oh, that was it.
Legend. All done.
Jeez, that was a roller coaster ride, those 10 questions.
Mate. It is game over. It is done and dusted. You got to get back to Brunswick.
And it's good to know you guys proudly sponsored by the Beef Association of Australia. It's good to know you got that question at the end.
What's the butcher down the road? Whatever you call it. Anyway.
You're sponsored by a place you just made up. That's really good.
Yeah, really good. Off you go. Away you go.
Good on you, Jonesy. Up your trot.
Legend.
There you go.
Good
Do
to
you
have
have a
it.
catch cry
Good
at the
luck.
end? Is there like, Jonesy out?
No, it's just goodbye. It's just like casual. I'll think
your
of one.
commentary career is not going to kick off if you don't have a
what
catch
should I say?
cry.
What should I say? Jam and cheese on toast. Give it a one. Give it a trundle. Give it a trundle. Jam and cheese on toast.
Trundle?
A trundle.
What's that?
You know, give it a go. Give it a go. Use that in your next show. No worries. I'll just set up.
I'm trundling off.
See you later.
Shut up.
Bye.